given for an infection and or inflammation of the outer ear canal and also the outermost membrane of the eardrum. It can exist in various forms. One form of otitis externa is what I call superficial, is when you've just got very dry skin, so it's like psoriasis, eczema. You can then get more of a deep edema, otitis externa. That's when the ear canal itself is visibly inflamed and you've got inflammation, swelling of the ear canal. You can also get otitis externa with otorrhea. So otorrhea is the medical term for an ear discharge. Things can get a lot more serious as well. You can get something called malignant or necrotizing otitis externa, and that's when the outer ear infection is so bad that it starts literally chewing and eating up the flesh of the ear canal and the bone around it, and it can be very, very dangerous. So with this particular patient, they've got more superficial otitis externa. There wasn't much swelling, but the ear canal was a bit slightly red, so it was a bit angry and a lot of dry skin on the surface, and the ear canal was completely blocked with this debris, and I would say this is kind of dead skin that has accumulated in the ear canal itself, and it's become a bit soft and mushy. It's one of the more harder types of debris to remove because of the consistency. It's quite mushy. So I've put some drops in there just to change the consistency, some olive oil. You can just see at the entrance there just how dry the entrance of the ear canal is. There's loads of dry skin flakes there. And with otitis externa, the ear's already sensitive, so we're going to be really, really careful. You can see throughout the video, I'm just trying to avoid contact with the canal wall, because by touching that, it's going to be a bit uncomfortable for the patient. And whilst you're just watching that, I'll just go through some of the questions that appeared in my previous video. So some of the questions is how do you clean your ears? If you've been watching my videos, I recommend not to get water in. The answer to that is that the ear is naturally self-cleansing. There's nothing you should be doing, actually. It's an old a granny saying, if you like, never put anything smaller than your elbow in your ear. And that rule still applies. The skin that lines the ear canal and the outermost layer of the eardrum, as that dies and sheds, it naturally migrates out of the ear in a conveyor belt motion. And that dead skin that comes out of the ear, it cleanses the ear. So if you've got any earwax sitting on the surface, it takes the earwax with it. Earwax is sticky, so any foreign particles that enter the ear and sticks to the wax, that's also removed. And earwax itself is a natural moisturiser, so a bit of wax is good for you. It coats the canal wall and it lubricates and moisturises the skin, preventing it from drying and cracking. Another question was whether it's normal to have tinnitus. A lot of people do suffer from tinnitus. I would actually go out on record and say that probably everyone does now and again. I generally get a bit of tinnitus in my ear after a long day at work or if I'm a bit tired, but it's only momentarily. I wriggle my ear and it goes away. There's 101 causes of tinnitus, really, and as we get older, we're more probably prone to developing tinnitus, and that's for the reason that probably the biggest link of tinnitus, or the cause of tinnitus, is age-related hearing loss. But there's many causes. Now, obviously, it's a whole topic in itself, but what I would advise is someone's experiencing tinnitus either in one ear only, which we call unilateral, or worse in one ear, which is called asymmetrical, or if they experience what we call pulsatile tinnitus, so it's a pulse rather than a sound. Sometimes it can be cardiosynchronous, in line with our heartbeat or pulse. Then you do need to get that investigated further, so you go to your doctor in the first instance. Also, if you just have tinnitus and it's kind of either in both ears or more central, do get a hearing test. Have someone look in your ears. There's no silver bullet to cure tinnitus, but there's many mechanisms out there. And again, it's a whole different topic with tinnitus. Diet, lifestyle, if you've got a hearing loss, hearing aids can help. Stress, fatigue is another contributing factor to tinnitus. So it's going to come back to the ear. So you can see the eardrum there in the distance now. The patient can hear significantly better, but I just want to get as much debris off the canal wall as possible. And it's really, really difficult because, again, that game, I made reference to it in previous videos, that game operation is, which I was playing that with the ear. We just don't want to make contact with the ear canal. They've got some otitis externa. I don't want to graze the ear canal, which is only going to exacerbate their condition. The patient has been prescribed some medication from their doctor, some antibiotic spray, but quite rightly the doctor advised if you are able to clean your ears first, it'll be more effective because that debris will absorb a lot of the antibiotic and it won't make contact with the canal wall. So I just want to remove as much. You can just see how I'm just delicately hovering over. Now, we don't have a tripod, so when I'm examining the ear, when I'm doing the procedure, the endoscope, the iClearScope device, that's being held in my left hand and the instruments are being held in my right hand. And they're both suspended. We don't have, as I said, a tripod to keep things steady in that respect. The patient's also awake, so they can be also moving. So it's really, really tricky. And we just want to, you'll see we do manage to get a lot of this out. I think another question was, well, it was probably, I don't think it was a question, but a remark was that I can't repetitive in my explanations and I should just write a description on these videos. So there's always new people watching the channel, so hence why I often repeat stuff. Who am I to know whether a viewer has previously listened to my explanation before? So for me, it's important to educate everyone, not only those that have been subscribers or followers for a while. Also then, not only uploading videos, it takes a lot of time, guys, and then writing for the description. If I was, if this is a full-time job, great, I've got that time, but as I probably mentioned in the past, I don't really get financially rewarded for these videos. It's something that I do because I do enjoy it. I enjoy training and educating people, and there's a lot of people that enjoy watching the videos for various reasons. It helps with their anxiety or depression, or it calms them down, it soothes them. So I do enjoy doing it for that reason, but I have to draw a line of how much content I can give within the video. So I hope that explains that. Another question I received was whether it's safe to use a cotton bud in the outer part of the ear. Yes, that's no problem. So the outer part of the ear, what we call the pinna, you've got all these folds and creases. You can get wax that migrates out of the ear canal and it can collect and gather in those folds and creases. That's absolutely no problem. Just don't go inside the ear with a cotton bud. Another question was relating to the use of ear candles. Are they safe? Do I recommend them? Absolutely not. There's no clinical evidence. In fact, it's been debunked. The big claim with hoppy ear candles is when you unravel the candle post-procedure, you see all the debris and that's earwax. It's not. It's clinically, scientifically been proven to be the beeswax, which makes up the candle. There's been some horror stories where, because obviously that candle is hollow, hot wax that's melted, travels through the hollow candle and scald the ear canal and eardrum. So do stay well away from hoppy ear candles. So I'm just using a fine end, and the reason why I decided to spend a lot of time answering some of the questions in this particular video is because essentially all I'm doing now is just, and I have been doing all the procedures, just gently just hovering over the canal wall, suctioning as much debris out as I can. So it's not much more I can elaborate in that regards in terms of the technique for use for this. And yeah, I'm on the cartilaginous portion here, so you can put a bit of pressure there. You can see all the cilia, so all these hair follicles are, they are always found on the outer third of the ear canal, the cartilaginous portion. You shouldn't be finding any hairs that are growing on the bony part of the ear canal, the inner 2/3, because there's literally just skin on bone there. There's no hair follicles embedded within the ear canal. This particular patient has attended before, actually, about a year ago, and it was a similar problem. They had otitis externa, so it is a chronic condition. And last time they again used some antibiotic spray prescribed by the GP, and it helped a lot. General advice, as I do with all my patients, is not only those with infections, but even those with healthy ears, is to avoid water in the ear. Water can exacerbate otitis externa. If accidentally you ever do get water in your ear, obviously tilt your head to the side, try and drain it. And from a distance, from a really, really big distance, you can use a hairdryer.